right. All right. My staff says Senator Whitehouse is next.
Senator
So,
Whitehouse.
yeah. Sheldon, if you would take it away, and Eddie, bear with us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary. Thank you for being here. I understand that there's been some suggestion that the department should not make any efforts to mitigate transportation greenhouse gas emissions or to ensure infrastructure resilience in the implementation of the infrastructure bill. And I just wanted to ask, it is true, is it not, that the bipartisan infrastructure law includes a climate title?
Correct.
And it is true that it also includes funding that is required to be used on emissions reductions and resilience?
Yes.
And it's also true that it requires all states to develop a strategy to reduce emissions from the transportation sector, correct?
Yes.
You had some questions about the application of the social cost of carbon decision out of the district court in Louisiana. Does that decision relieve you of any responsibilities to make decisions in a fact-based way, in a fact-based environment?
Not at all.
With respect to the Administrative Procedures Act, if facts are developed through the notice and comment procedures, you will continue to abide by the strictures of the Administrative Procedures Act and make decisions that are consistent with the facts that have been developed in the hearing process?
We would.
And in grants, is it appropriate for the department to recognize harms and benefits of applicants' projects and consider the harms or benefits of the applicants' projects in evaluating which grants should be awarded and which grants should be deferred or denied?
As provided in the authorizing statute, absolutely.
And in a fact-based environment, is it not a fact that there are substantial costs associated with carbon pollution?
Unquestionably.
In Rhode Island, the particular facts that are of most concern to us have to do with flooding. We are looking at potentially feet of sea level rise towards the end of this century. That means redrawing the map of Rhode Island. We have some of the best mapping in the country. We realized early on that FEMA maps were defective, inaccurate, and failed. So we drew our own, and that program has been very, very successful and is looked to, I think, from around the country. So I'm hoping that you'll support better mapping to make sure that the projects that you're looking at are being evaluated against best science and best predictions of what's actually going to be there as sea levels rise or as river flooding renders properties more and more vulnerable to being underwater. Is that your understanding of your responsibilities?
Certainly. I come from a river city, and I've had the experience of looking at the rising floodwaters and realizing that what was characterized as a 500-year flood is increasingly becoming almost a semi-annual event. I know that's been the experience in a lot of different places. And so sometimes we take those mapping or other criteria as given under the statute, but we always want to make sure that we are working with the most accurate and up-to-date information that we can.
The disinclination I often see in this building to take climate warnings seriously is, I think, very regrettable. And it's particularly regrettable for coastal states like mine, which are looking at very significant repercussions from our refusal to acknowledge fact-based problems that we can solidly predict are going to come at us. I think if other states were looking at having to redraw their boundaries because of a problem, they would expect some sympathy and consideration from colleagues. And I would hope that as people look at what is being predicted pretty much uniformly for coastal states, we take into consideration the reality of those concerns and the danger to our coastal environments. And it's not just me, and it's not just environmental groups, and it's not just coastal communities that are saying this. Freddie Mac, the big federal mortgage insurer, has warned that we are headed for a coastal property values crash. Now, for colleagues who don't have coastal property, they may think that's funny or not of concern to them, but the crash predicted by Freddie Mac is of such severity, like 2008 mortgage meltdown level severity, that it is predicted to cascade through the economy in the same way that that did, well beyond the affected mortgages, and create economic dislocation across the country. So please continue to pay attention to this, Mr. Secretary.
You have my commitment.
Thank you.
Senator Markey, I believe you're next, and then we'll go to Senator Ernst. I think Senator Duckworth is going to join us by WebEx. Senator Kelly Padillo. So Senator Ernst, and then back to Senator Markey. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you.